I'm not gonna tolerate any more Tasha slander on my timeline. A woman with an actual conscience, and we are reducing her to not believing in her husband in the first season. In episode 1, we still haven't forgiven her for that. I have about 10 minutes to let you guys know how I'm feeling. Thank you so much for wandering into my corner of the internet, and there are buttons below signifying your approval of the content that I have posted on the World Wide Web. Feel free to click any and all of those buttons, and more content will be coming soon. Listen, as far as I am concerned, one of the best television shows in the last 10 years has been Power. It's definitely on my all-time list. The show is brilliant. In an age where a lot of people's favorite television shows and favorite movies are ending poorly, looking at you, Star Wars, looking at you, Game of Thrones. In a world where that is happening, I think a lot of people, including myself, were very interested in seeing how the show would end. I'm a Tasha fan. I will not tolerate any Tasha slander. I've heard people call her a scumbag. I've heard people call her a hoe. Someone on Twitter just said, I'm glad that got what she deserved. In a show where everybody is morally questionable, it is amazing to me the amount of vitriol that is thrown at this one female character. People have killed, lied, cheated, done a bunch of questionable things. But for her, for some reason, it just seems to be just selfish. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Patriarchy. It all has to do with the patriarchy. It's that she didn't support the dream of her husband. The number one complaint you'll get about Tasha is stuff that she said in the very first episode that people can't let go. Now, to us, we are foolish enough to believe this man, Jamie St. Patrick, when he says, I want to get out of the drug game because I want a better life for me and my family. That really wasn't the case. As we saw through the seasons, and particularly by the time the show ended, is that the double life that he led is what gave him the success as a drug dealer. He was a drug dealer in private, nobody really knew who he was, and he was a family man above ground. This was a man who wanted an audience for his greatness. So because he didn't have an audience for his drug dealing greatness, he didn't want to remain a drug dealer. He did not get out of the game so that he could become a better person. The same tactics he used to be a drug dealer it was the exact same modus operandi that he was using to be a club owner and to be in politics. That inside of all of these industries, while we might judge people in the drug game, but inside of the drug game, inside of the business, and inside of the politics, there are all people in there that will remind you of criminals. All of these industries have people who are willing to get their hands dirty. So the fact that we are still stuck on the fact that this woman did not support this man's dream because he wanted to better himself and she didn't support that. He didn't want to better himself. He was not a more morally upstanding man because he was no longer in the drug game. So this idea that she just didn't understand him was crazy. She knew exactly who he was. His attraction to her had a lot of different facets. One, it was her being an intelligent person, and more than anything else, he was very attracted to the fact that she was always willing to hold him down. And once he realized that she wasn't particularly loyal to him, he did not want anything else to do with your girl. He was out of there. So all of this Tasha slander, I'm not going to tolerate any of it because she held the man down. She volunteered to take the hit for the son. She decided not to kill old boy, and on top of her deciding not to do it, she realized that the kid was gonna do it, and she tried to stop Yeah. And at the end of all of this, she takes the rap for her kid so he can go to college. The credits roll, and we are still talking about this woman like she is just some kind of scumbag hoe. We have a tendency, and in television in particular, to reduce women, particularly black women, to whatever mistake or character flaw they have. Tasha has always been painted as an unsupportive wife when she was really just someone who knew that the man was switching up the game on the whole family, and that his anonymity as a drug dealer is what provided a foundation for him and what provided a foundation for that entire family. She was a woman with flaw and who had questionably moral direction, to be quite honest. But she was also surrounded by people who had questionably, and we still could not get past things that she said in the first episode. Somehow the woman has been just a complete total just sleazeball just through all of this. Even though she's the only person who grieves the daughter, she's the only person who takes care of the youngest daughter, she's the only person who sees the transformation in her son and tries to reel him in, she's the only person who tells him the truth when she knows that that's the only thing he wants. She has saved Ghost's life, she saved Tariq's life, she saved Angela's life a couple of times. I mean, it's just crazy how much hate this woman gets. But I think that we need to reframe things and realize that at the end of the day, there were a lot of people on that show, including Ghost, including Kanan, including Tommy. Even if you think about Lakeisha's alibi, there were all these people who wanted to save Tariq and they couldn't do it. They were not capable of doing it. And when it was all said and done, the only person who was able to secure a future for that young man was his mother. Good fiction does one thing well. It revisits what the main character wanted in the very beginning at the very end. And if we are to consider everything that the character James St. Patrick said at the beginning of the show, then we would understand that he wanted to get out of the drug game to make a better life for his family. And by the end of the show, the only family he had was that boy. And by the end of the show, the only person who actually secured a future for that boy was his mother. In the comments, it's 100% fine. Let your feelings out, let them flow. This is my analytic perspective on a very smart television show. I have to talk about this show because a lot of people who watch this show have a hard time understanding what writers are deliberately trying to do and stories that they're deliberately trying to tell. I liked the way things ended. I liked how many episodes they gave us, but there was a lot of resolution that came with dedicating the first half of the season to the demise of the main character and what was the fallout or the resolution. It was just really done quite well. Shout out to Courtney Kemp. I think she's a genius. I look forward to the NAACP Image Awards this year because they should be racking up. This is your girl talking TV and other things. Blessings to you. Pursue passion, pursue dream, pursue mental, emotional health. Be good to other people. Thank you so much. We're out of here.